In your chapter 3 packet, we started yesterday. And let me just review quickly what we did yesterday. We talked about mineral properties and how identifying a mineral is a lot like playing a game of Guess Who. We're actually going to try this today. If you look in those folders on your desk, that is, I'll get you one. In fact, there's one in that back corner table if you want to go grab it. We are going to try playing mineral Guess Who. So we'll do that at the end here. But if you remember from yesterday or from lab, the mineral properties that we're going to be looking at are the luster, hardness, the breakage, which is cleavage or fracture, the color, and the streak of minerals. We went through most of these yesterday. Remember that mineral properties are determined by how the atoms are arranged inside the mineral. Mr. D, would you mind grabbing copies that I have on the printer? We need a spare one back there. Thank you. So they're determined, the color, the luster, the type of breakage, that's all determined by how the atoms are arranged, whether they, or how they're bonded together. So that's called the internal arrangement of atoms. That has been on almost every single Regents I've ever graded. So they might say, what determines if a mineral has cleavage or fracture, and what determines that is the way their atoms are arranged, their internal arrangement of atoms. Luster, remember, there's only two choices: looks like a metal and does not look like a metal. Hardness is determined by how easily you can scratch a mineral. And what I said yesterday is whatever's doing the scratching is harder than whatever's being scratched. So if your fingernail can scratch the mineral, your fingernail's harder. If your mineral can scratch the glass, then the mineral's harder than the glass. Whatever's doing the scratching is harder. What did we end on? Did we do streak? Oh, perfect. We got, so cleavage and fracture, remember the difference between the two of those. Cleavage is like these two right here. They have smooth, flat breaks, while fracture is all rough and bumpy. Color is not super helpful because minerals come in many colors. So one mineral can be many colors, or lots of minerals can be the same color. So streak is the color of the mineral's powder. It is not always the same as the color of the mineral. So it's important you test it. And how do you test for streak? Did we add that to that box? You rub it on a streak plate. So how do you determine a mineral streak? You rub it on a streak plate. Fill that in if you haven't already. So what if you don't have a streak plate? So if you are out in the market for identifying minerals, you will have one. But if you don't have one, because it is just the color of the mineral's powder, you can do whatever it takes to powder it up. So you could hit it with a hammer and make a pile of powdered minerals, which I don't advise to, because then you don't have any mineral left. So you could rub it on the cement. Again, I don't advise that because it's going to break down way faster than on the streak plate. So again, you won't have anything left after you figured out what it was now. So a streak plate is your best bet. There are 4 special properties. So it sounds like this is where we left off yesterday. If you could write these 4 special properties down. So I want to talk about these 4 properties. The first one being the acid test. I'm not sure if this is going to show up here. If it does show up here, we'll just use it up here. If not, I will have you guys come up in 1 second. So the acid test truly means you can put acid on one of the minerals and it will bubble. See if we can see this. I'm not sure. I have a feeling we're not going to see. We might have a chance here. All right, because we're using acid, or I'm using acid, I'm gonna put on these fancy goggles. It is real acid.
So you put it in your eyeballs?
So I wouldn't advise against putting, or I would advise against putting it in your eyeballs. So this acid is so weak that it's basically vinegar or maybe lemon juice. So you guys can imagine what vinegar or lemon juice would feel in your eyes. So that's why I don't want to put it in my eyes. Will it hurt my skin? No. If I get it in an open cut or on my dry skin spots, kind of like when you put hand sanitizer on them, not going to feel good. Let's see if we can see this bubble. If we can't, I'll have you come up. Well, you can, right here. You see it bubbling? Maybe. See if we put it on the black effect. I was really hoping this would make life easier. But I can see it because I know what to look for. Mr. B saw it, but that,
What is supposed to?
there. See, oh, I even see some smoke coming out of it.
It's gonna start a fire.
Do you see it? Yeah, so you got the idea. Have you ever seen hydrogen peroxide when you wash your hands or disinfect your hands? That's the same kind of bubbles. So it's not blow up the school kind of bubbling. It's barely even baking soda and vinegar bubbles. It's not that exciting, but it does clearly indicate that this mineral is calcite because calcite will bubble with acid. On our reference table, since you have your reference table out, flip to the back page. Find the mineral that will bubble with acid. It's listed down the distinguishing characteristics column. So it is listed down the distinguishing characteristics column. Find the one that will bubble with acid. Point to it just so I can see you're participating in class here, people. When you found it. Down the distinguishing characteristics column. Just read through it. Cole, which one is it? Yeah, calcite. Yeah. So actually on that note, some of these words are weird and I never expect any of you to be able to read them off the top of your head. They are weird words. So again, where was I looking? Down the distinguishing characteristics, and I know you can't read mine, it's blurry, but right here it says bubbles with acid. Everybody see calcite that bubbles with acid? Look at the mineral below it. Dolomite, what's the distinguishing characteristic about that one? Bubbles with acid when powdered. So did I have to powder that one to make it bubble? No. No, so wouldn't everything bubble with acid? They would not. Nothing else will bubble with acid that we have. Only those two would bubble. Good question though.
So tell me what are the other things you think?
Nothing will happen to it. Yep. So he asked, what would happen if you put a 55-gallon drum and you put one of these other minerals in it? nothing will happen, just like nothing happens to the 55-gallon drum either. There is luckily some things that don't react with acid. If you watched Breaking Bad, you watch Breaking Bad? Anybody know where I'm going with this? Not a single one of you? Dude, you guys gotta watch some better TV shows.
I seen a scary movie where they have pour acid over their face.
Okay, so yeah, acid reacts with faces, but they just got rid of a body by putting it in acid. And the guy who was in charge is like, you have to get these specific plastic bins. And you're gonna have to cut up the body and put it in the bins. But the guy that he left in charge is like, well, that's too much work. I'm just gonna put him in the bathtub so I don't have to cut him up. And when the guy in charge found out, he went running into the house and the acid had leaked through and burned through and eaten through the bathtub and the floor and was gone. So when disposing of bodies, you need to know what reacts with acid and what doesn't, okay? So don't you ever tell me you never learned anything in earth science. Got it?
I already knew that.
Oh, but then why did you ask me that you were the one who asked me that very same question.
No.
You said if I threw one of those other ones in there, wouldn't
Well,
it?
I knew that if you can get rid of the body.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyway, now that we know how to get rid of bodies, let's talk about, what was the next one that I had on there? Taste. There is a mineral that will have a salty taste. This mineral, which, wow, I actually want to point something out. That's the one that tastes salty. Let me actually get rid of the blue sheet. That's the one that tastes salty right there. This is the one that bubbles with acid. Upon first glance, do you see much of a difference? What do you see,
Yeah.
Cynthia? I couldn't hear you. What? From where you're standing, one is see-through-ish. And you're right, this one is a little more cloudy. But honestly, that is not a big difference. They're practically the same.
One has two stains on it.
One is a little discolored, yeah. It is the size, but do you think that's what's distinguishing them? No, because I could just break this one. So what I'm getting at is, do you see much of a difference?
I bet you they don't break it.
Okay. So first of all, what my point was, they don't look much different. They're pretty much the same color. They feel the same. One of these will taste salty and one of these will bubble with acid. This is a perfect reason why you don't just go tasting things in this class. Beyond COVID, you don't want to taste these because one will bubble with acid and one will taste salty. So what if you tasted the wrong one? You might have had acid on your tongue then, and not one that some people may enjoy, one that is going to burn your tongue.
Oh yeah, I love doing acid.
Okay.
It's my favorite.
Okay, so Hayden's that one, somebody, but anyway. Do you see a difference though? So yes, this one will taste salty, this one will bubble with acid. Do you see a difference? What? One's a rhombus. What's a rhombus?
Yeah, right there.
That right there, yeah. This right here, how'd you describe it? A slightly tilted rectangle. So if you take a rectangle and tilt it like this, so if you'll notice, these are, this is more of a rectangle, right? I mean, it's got a broken corner, but this is a rectangle. This is a rhombus. This is what's called rhombohedral cleavage. Looks like a rhombus. This one's what looks like cubic cleavage. Looks like a cube. So those are two different distinguishing characteristics. One will taste bad, one won't. In this class this year and from now on, we will never be tasting minerals. Just ask me, I'll let you know if it tastes bad.
Probably wasn't the taste of-
I do not. Some minerals are magnetic. And some people think that anytime they're some people think that anytime they're metallic, they'll be magnetic because you think metals are magnetic. But these minerals are, this is a magnet, by the way, in my hand. Nothing. Nothing for that one. Nothing there. Nothing there. Magnet sticks to that one. That one is magnetic. So that one's magnetite. They got super original with that name. And then finally, some of them have a greasy feel. This one, when you touch it, feels slippery, especially when compared to the other ones. Now, it's probably more useful to actually touch both of them to see if they are, because some people just pick up the smooth ones and they think they're slippery or greasy. But when you truly feel the one that's greasy, it slips out of your hand. So it does have like a greasy feel to it. All right, so those are the mineral properties. Now let's use those mineral properties to play mineral Guess Who. Before I play mineral Guess Who, I feel it's important to make sure you know how to play regular Guess Who. I think we touched on this yesterday, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page with how you play this game. So let's play around. What question would you guys want to ask about these? Now, I have a character in my head, and you guys need to guess their name. What would you ask me? You would ask, now you don't ask, is it a girl or a boy? You have to ask yes or no questions for this game. So Jake asked it, what did you ask me? Is it a boy? I'm gonna say yes.
Is it a red?
Hang on, we're not there yet. So I say yes, it's a boy. What would you do playing the game? You'd push down all the girls. So we can't push them down, but we're just gonna cross them off.
That's a man.
That hurt, that's Anne. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, those are all the girls. What's the next question you might ask me?
Is it a redhead?
Is it a redhead? My person is not a redhead, so what should I do?
Um,
Cross off all the redheads. Goodbye, redheads. No. I have a redheaded daughter. Be careful. What else? What's another question you want to ask? Brad, since it wasn't you, what do you want to ask?
oh, is he a blonde?
Is he a blonde? My character is blonde. So what should I do?
Cross off all the ones that's not blonde.
Cross off everybody who's not blonde. Goodbye, Alex.
Ooh,
Bernard.
It's definitely Joe.
Goodbye, George. See you later, Max and Tom and Robert, Richard and Philip and Peter and Paul.
You forgot Sam.
Oh, I forgot Sam last class too. I guess I got a thing for Sam. All right, so we're left with Charles, David, Eric, and Joe. My person does not wear a hat.
Do they have a beard?
Goodbye,
or a
Eric.
mustache?
You can't ask, does he have a beard or a mustache?
Does he have a mustache?
Does he have a mustache? My guy has a mustache.
Oh, Caden.
So who's out? Cross off all the beards. Now, what about Joe? He doesn't have a beard or a mustache. Not him. My guy was Charles. Okay. Do you guys understand how to play the game? Okay. So it's a little different with you this time. In front of you, open up. Careful, because there's little pieces of paper in there. If you don't have one, anybody not have one, let's just go with that. I think there's one on that table right.
Wait, can we leave the lights off?
No, because you're gonna want to be able to see. Okay. So you have this table in front of you. 4 more. What the heck? Well, they're not shaped on, but they can do it. And then they can just rip up some paper. Wow, this is a big class. Forgot, Andrew, is everyone here? No, who's missing? That's right. She didn't come down this morning. All right. So we got your mineral table.
Yeah.
And instead of crossing them off, guys, that's what the little pieces of paper are for. So if you would have needed to cross them off, you're just going to cover them up. So let's play a round together. So in my brain, well, not in my brain, I picked a mineral and I'm not gonna show you what it is, but I've got my mineral right here. Oh, you do you?
Yeah, I see two people.
Okay, George.
Who's Jordan?
George is the imaginary character that I always say when I'm being sarcastic.
Which one?
No. Okay,
Oh, I couldn't know what it is.
It's black or gray.
okay, I'll pick a different one.
Make sure you hold it up.
Okay, I got a different one. All right. So you have to ask questions to get here. Yeah, you still don't have one? Do you, oh, you have a question? What? All right, Mackenzie, what do you got? Oh, that's not how we're playing this game. Where are you gonna get your questions from?
Your head.
Not your head. Oh, so it's not really as fun as regular Guess Who.
That's.
We are using the characteristics that are listed on the back of the reference table. Yes, Megan. Oh, an actual question. Yes. Oh, for the game. Yes. So you can't ask me, is it metallic or not metallic? Reword that to a yes or no question. Is it metallic? My mineral is metallic. So what should you do on your board since it? So I'm explaining this right now, so stay with me.
Yes, ma'am.
Megan asked, is it metallic? And I said yes. So what are you getting rid of?
Pick a line.
All the ones that aren't. Now, how are you deciding if they're not metallic or not? So you could look at them and some of them are obvious, but I would check your reference table. So take a look. Is graphite metallic? Yeah. Is galena, oh, so we want to keep that one. Is galena metallic? Is pyrite metallic? Check your reference table, Brad. Brad, find pyrite on there. Point to it. Is it in the metallic group or not? Okay, good question. So in case we need to remember, here's the word pyrite. So Brad, you got it? Here's pyrite. And you read over to see if it's in the luster that has metallic or not. So it is. So we want to keep it because I said, yes, it is. Is sulfur metallic? Nope. So we get rid of it. Is quartz metallic? No. So we get rid of it. Is olivine metallic? No. So we get rid of it.
Yeah, it
Is
is.
gypsum metallic? So wait, whoa.
Sure looks like it.
So what do you do? So you can't, these pictures aren't the best. So Hayden, find olivine on the reference table.
That's the one that looks like that.
It's actually more of a greenish color. The printer didn't print it very good. How about gypsum? No. Calcite? No. Halite? No. Magnetite? Yes. Potassium feldspar? And biotite mica? No. So this was a good question to ask. Good job, Megan, because this was like asking if it was a boy or girl on my last one. Because we got down to 4. 4 out of 12. Who wants, yeah, you want to ask another question, Eli? Does it have cleavage? My mineral does not have cleavage. How will you check this out?
You're gonna go see if there's like a ridge.
Oh.
For when I incorporate.
Where are you going to look? I would look on the reference table. How do we tell on the reference table if it is cleavage or fracture? The check marks. So notice, no, look, Hayden. This side, if the check mark's on that side, it's cleavage. If the check mark's on that side, it's
So
fracture.
it has cleavage, you said?
Mine, I said, did not have cleavage. So if it does not have cleavage, let's check it out. Does graphite have cleavage? Check it out. Does it have cleavage? Yes. So do I cover it up or no? Mine did not have cleavage. I cover it up. Does galena have cleavage?
Sorry.
Yes, galena has cleavage. So I cover it up.
That only leaves.
Does pyrite have cleavage? No, pyrite does not have cleavage. Check the reference table before you answer, guys. Does magnetite have cleavage? No. So those are the last 2 that are on the chart.
Yeah.
What question can you ask Just separate the two of them, Megan. Is it magnetic? My mineral is magnetic. Pyrite is not magnetic. So the mineral is magnetite. All right, I'm not going to do the next one with you. I'm just going to pick one. All right, I've got one. Let's go around the room. Megan's asked a few. So Miley, can you ask a question?
That's you.
Does it have cleavage? Yes, mine has cleavage.
Uh-oh, I think this is gonna be.
So I'll give you guys a minute. Go through each one. Mine does. So go through each one like I did. Look at graphite. See if it has cleavage. Move to galena. See if it has cleavage. So this might take you a second or two
It
to.
does have cleavage.
Mine does.
So we're gonna go down to-
So use your reference tables. Which ones are you covering up?
Check your section.
So just to help you out, which ones are you covering up? The ones that have fracture. So you're covering up all the ones that have fracture.
What?
I think you should have 5 of them covered up. Double check. Do you have 5? Brad, do you have 5 covered up?
I'm not done yet.
Perfect. Hayden's almost done.
No, I'm not. I can't find the G one, but I might do.
What one can't you find?
I got it.
Second one down.
All right. Michael, what question do you want to ask?
Oh.
That's a good question. Nobody's asked yet. Can my mineral scratch glass? No. Hardness, glass has a hardness of 5.5. No, 2.5 is your fingernail. Mine cannot scratch glass. Good, that was my next question. So yes, it's less than 5.5.
So the third one on the top row.
Third one on the top row.
It says something else before it.
Selenite gypsum, yep, sorry.
Oh. Is he below?
Yep, so it's less than 5.5.
There's so many things.
Remember, you covered up 5 before. I think I count 5 left, am I right? You got 6 left?
So there's
Okay. Oh, yep, 6. I forgot one. You should have 6 left open.
2 more. Yeah, cover that one.
Jake, you got 6 left? You have 6 left? No? So you should have, what you should have covered up are the ones that have, what was the first question? Miley, what did you ask first? If it had cleavage, and I said, yes, it had cleavage, right? Oh, you covered up, right? Yep. And now you should have ones that are less than 5.5 covered up. Or left open, I'm sorry. Do you want to ask another question to help cover them up? It is non-metallic. Mine is non-metallic. Still should have, I think, 4 left, right?
Oh, hold on a minute. Metallic means it looks like metal, right?
Correct. So he asked me, what did you ask me, Jake? He asked me if it was non-metallic and I said yes.
I got one.
You did something wrong.
What do you mean I did something wrong? This doesn't look like metal.
What doesn't look like metal?
All these-
Correct, so they should be left open
Oh,
because
what the frick?
mine was non-metallic.
Idiot. Now I'm all confused.
So the first question was. Miley said it, Miley, what again, what'd you say? If it had cleavage, and I said yes. So I went down the list. Pyrite has fracture. Sulfur has fracture. Quartz has sulfur. Olivine has fracture. And magnetite has fracture. Fracture. I may have. Then you asked, can it scratch glass? Well, the only one that can scratch glass would have been the potassium feldspar. Then Jake asked, is it a non-metallic? And I said yes. So you should have galena and graphite covered up. So you should be left with these 4. Hayden, what do you want to ask next?
I gotta catch up here. Let me,
So look at mine. I got gypsum, calcite, halite, and biotite mica. What can I ask to separate those? What did we just learn about calcite?
is it thin, flexible?
Mine is not flexible in thin sheets. Does it have color? Mine,
They all have colors.
yeah, ask a better question. Ask
Where
a,
is it color?
you mean, is it not, is it white? Mine can be white. Okay, so asking, so that's a good question. When she says, is it white? Can gypsum be white? Can halite be white? Can calcite be white? Colorless to variable, does that mean it can be white? Yeah, so that wasn't good. So
Oh, I bet you I know.
do you mean, is it colorless? Mine cannot be colorless.
Nothing's colorless. Clear is a color. That you just cheated. And everybody knows.
So the only one of those 3 that were left that cannot be colorless is gypsum. You think we got time for one more? I definitely do.
No way.
For realsies. Clear your board. I got one more. Lily, what's the first? Now let's say you wanted to make this as simple as possible according to the reference table. What question would you ask first? Which one you want to ask first? Is it metallic? Mine is not metallic. Brooke, according to the reference table, what's the next thing you should ask about? All right, yeah, the hardness. We'll wait while everybody catches up.
I'll just sit out.
No. Mine is not metallic.
Boom. 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 Bang.
Mine is not metallic. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 that you should have covered up. What are you doing? You're putting a lot of pieces of paper up.
Metallic looks like metal,
Yes,
so it's not metallic.
mine,
So
I,
there,
she asked,
there.
is mine metallic? And I said, no. You're only covering up the metallic ones, Hayden. All right, as Brooke said, Brooke, why'd you say hardness is the next thing we're gonna do? Yeah, she's going in order. If you go in order on the reference table, then you can just cover them up nicely on your reference table when you're doing this for real. So Brooke, ask me a question about hardness, please. Can I scratch? Can I scratch glass? No, I cannot scratch glass. So what's that mean about the hardness? It's less than 5.5. Tori, do you want to ask a follow-up question as long as we're at hardness? No, ask about hardness. Some more questions about hardness. You're right, that would be a good question, but I want to stick more with hardness. So I can't scratch glass. My fingernail can scratch it. My fingernail can scratch it. Good question. My fingernail is 2.5. So my fingernail can scratch it. Remember, whatever's doing the scratching is harder. So my fingernail can scratch it. What's the hardness of this mineral? 2.5 or less. Good. There's a couple, okay. Now Tori wanted to ask, did it have cleavage? No, mine does not have cleavage. Do we get it? It is sulfur. All right, that's it for today, but I do want to point out on the board, it says you have homework on page 6. You do need your reference table. It will take you all of 5 minutes to copy the information off your reference table.